There's an efficient way to get caught up on a lot of news. It's called The Seven from The Washington Post. It's a newsletter and podcast. Whether you're reading or hit play, you get 7 stories you need to know, and you can consume it all in just a few minutes. The Seven is out every weekday morning by 7 a.m. Eastern. I'm Hannah Jewell. I'm one of the writers, and I host the show. Find The Seven podcast wherever you're listening. The newsletter link is waiting for you in the show notes.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
KFI AM 640. It's later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube and the iHeartRadio app. And as I look out the studio, what the hell is going on? Wait. My calendar says May, but my view says like middle of winter, April showers, it looks like. Mark Runner, what the hell is going on? Why is there rain on the way?
Well, we have this phenomenon called weather that you may have heard about a little bit.
Not much about it.
I'm just getting a handle on what may be going on elsewhere, but we are supposed to get rain probably late Saturday night and into Sunday morning.
Okay, so long as it's late Saturday night and early into Sunday morning, that's fine. I just don't want it to mess with my weekend, and it's all about me.
Well, you know, if I were you, I wouldn't worry about it. Just throw on your usual bikini bottoms and stand outdoors, and whatever happens, happens. You're tough. You're a masculine, macho guy, and it won't affect you. I
don't wear bikini bottoms. Speedos, maybe, but not bikini bottoms. All right, come on. That's a step too far.
What, you haven't groomed the lawn? What's the problem?
No. Hey, since I got you on the mic, are you going to see Thunderbolts tonight?
I'm trying to work out the details right now. I don't know.
Okay.
I got to have something to talk about tomorrow. And the field's kind of cleared because that's the 800-pound gorilla of the week, and not a lot else is opening.
Tuwala, are you trying to see Thunderbolts tonight?
No, I have to try to rush out of here and get back to the house in time to sing happy birthday to my daughter.
Well, isn't she like Beyonce right now?
Yeah, but she should be home hopefully before midnight.
No, she's not
still
going to be
school
home
night.
No. She's not going to be home before midnight.
You might be right about that.
She's not like 23?
15 going on 23. Okay. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
I may be able to take you up on that, Mark. I got to see what time this Beyonce is over.
Okie doke.
What time is the concert supposed to be over?
I have no idea.
It's supposed to be starting like right now.
Yeah, it's happening. It's happening right now. I'm going to text her mother and say, what time is this?
Is her mother with her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you let her go with a boyfriend?
Hell no.
Why not?
Extra hells on that note.
When is she going to be allowed to date?
As I told her. Okay. When you are far out of my sight, you do what you want. As long as I've got eyes on you, just know it's going to be problematic.
What about prom?
Oh, prom, yeah. Going down. Probably, something like that.
Because it is May.
Because then I'll be able to bring them in, say, give them that firm handshake and whisper things like, I can collapse your trachea. I can just literally push your eyeballs in with my thumbs. I've practiced that on various melons, just thumb strength, going in, getting your ear, holding it tight, and using that as the lever to push my thumb into your eye socket.
Well, I'm all ready to do this show. That puts me in a good mood. How about you, Stephen?
That's a huge turn on.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I'm just saying, this is what you have to be ready to do.
Thumbing melons. Thumbing melons. Well, what else we're going to be talking about tonight? We got to talk about how KB Homes has unveiled its first wildfire-resistant community. Now, this wasn't specifically built in response to the wildfires. It was already under construction, but it's the perfect time to start talking about new builds and also how they're going to be built with wildfires in at least consideration going forward. Carnival Cruise. You know how we love cruising here, or at least with the exception of Mark Ronner. We have to tell you about a fight, a brawl between 24 people. And it wasn't on the cruise. It was actually after the cruise, after they disembarked and they're trying to get their luggage on their way home.
Well, now I'm kind of interested.
Oh, yeah. It's like it wasn't actually on the ship. It was after getting off the ship. And Twala knows what that's like. It can be a madhouse trying to get your luggage. It can be.
I heard it's like Mad Max trying to get off a ship because there's only like 1 or 2 exits for the whole thing.
Yes, but when you're getting off, they try to schedule you when to get on and schedule you when to get off. And if you are smart, like me and my wife, we try to get off as early as possible. A lot of people are partying the night before, and so they don't want that early disembark time. We try to get off as early as possible to avoid the crush and the rush of crazy people trying to get their bags. And also, we try to travel as light as possible.
And you saved us a nightmarish departure or offloading when you said, pack light, keep your stuff with you, and you won't have to go through all that.
Yeah.
Literally, we're standing there, and it's like, they're like, we are now letting everyone go. And we're standing there with our bags, and they were like, oh, sir, if you guys have your bags, you don't need any help or anything there. You don't have to wait for your luggage. You can go now.
What you can do the night before, you can leave your luggage outside your door, and then they will take it down for you, and then you have to go get it from this cage area when you get off the ship.
You would do that?
I wouldn't. That's the point. People do. I take my bags with me and roll them down with me and keep them with me at all times. And so as I get off the ship, I just keep on going.
I've never understood people who don't follow the rule of never travel with more than you can carry comfortably all day.
You'd be surprised what those fools be bringing on ships.
Good
I'd
Lord.
be like 5 and 6 suitcases, which makes it impossible for them to do it all by themselves. And so they leave it up to the ship's crew to take it down. And then we'll talk about it at the bottom of the hour. And we have a new segment that we're going to be debuting tonight. It's The Sex Doctor is in, and he will see you with Sam Zia, who's going to join us in studio and talk about all those uncomfortable subjects that you just know and love here on the show. Did he tell you what he's going to be talking about tonight?
Sex.
Okay. Just want to make sure. And if you didn't know, people aren't washing a particular body part as often as they should. Does anyone want to take a guess what it might be?
Absolutely not.
Okay. That's a good idea. That's a very good idea.
There's so many.
I know. Well, I just assume that everybody's a nasty motherfather. That is my default assumption.
Yeah.
That people don't bathe consistently. People don't bathe all of their body consistently. People don't brush their teeth consistently. That's my assumption. And usually most people meet my low expectations. You can tell. It usually comes out in conversations like, yeah, I don't see the need to take a bath or a shower every day. My natural aroma is enough.
Where it really got exposed was during the pandemic.
Oh, yes.
When people were complaining about having to wash your hands. Like, really?
I have this. I know we got to go to break. I have this test. If I see you with dirty nails, I have to assume not only do you not wash your hands, you don't wash your ass either. I'm just saying. I've just got to be honest.
Meaning you're digging around in there with the nails? What are you saying? I'm just saying
your attention to hygiene is probably very low.
Just holistically.
Yeah.
Oh, well, emphasis on the first syllable. Yeah, okay.
Holistic.
Gotcha.
I have to assume, if you don't take care of your hands, you don't take care of anything else. And that was actually taught to me by my father as part of dating advice. You can interpret that however you want.
You talking about women with filthy nails?
I'm just saying you can interpret that however you want.
Because they paint their nails. How do you know?
You'd be surprised.
Oh, I wish I'd been a fly on the wall. Son, it's time for a little talk.
You'd be surprised. Just, sometimes they wear the French tip and it just be showing through. Carnival. Carnation, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
The minute you said French tip, Carnation knew instantly.
Carnation, are you wearing French tip right now?
First tip.
Are you wearing French tip right
Yes,
now?
I am. Yes, I am wearing French tip, but mine's are clean.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to leave it right there. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube. We don't know what's going to happen later on tonight. We're live on YouTube and the iHeartRadio app.
You don't know me yet, but I bet we have something in common. We all wish we were better functioning humans. Maybe figure out how to sleep better, have more meaningful relationships, cook more. That's Search for Practical Knowledge. It's my job at the Washington Post. I host a podcast called Try This. Every episode is like an audio class, and we learn together. I'm Christina Quinn. Now you know me. Check out Try This wherever you're listening.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
We're live on YouTube and the iHeartRadio app. Let's talk about the fires, but in a different way, in a more positive way. I remember when I was doing fire coverage here with Tawala Sharp and Mark Ronner, we were talking about what was happening, but also what was going to probably happen in the weeks and months afterward. Of course, there was a conversation about how we should maybe fortify our homes, how we should maybe change the building materials and make them more structurally sound when it comes to fires. Well, evidently, KB Homes was already ahead of the curve on that. And it's not like they constructed a complete development since the fires took place, but they were already in process of building a 64-home fire-resistant community. And they did it after seeing a demonstration of an actual home being set on fire to test its fireproof ability. Now, as it turns out, this demonstration was done by the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. It's a nonprofit organization formed by the property casualty insurance industry. Here's some of the things that they did do. Quote, we had to change the architecture on the fly to be more stucco oriented with fireproof shutters and doors and tempered windows. We were able to do that really quickly with the city of Escondido because they wanted to work with us. And that's KB Homes Senior Vice President Steve Ruffner. Beyond that, this is what KB Homes did. They had other fire-resistant features, include enclosed gutters, fire-resistant patios, doors, and siding. All of the homes have a 6-inch vertical clearance using stucco and stone, plus a defensible space of 5 feet from the houses, which are spaced 10 feet apart and divided by metal fencing. So it's not fireproof. It's fire resistant, fire mitigation. And from what I read, the houses are very popular and have already sold out. And this is just outside of the city of Escondido. It's near Dixon Lake, just outside of San Diego.
Interestingly enough, a lot of what you described are things that I was listening to Dean Sharp, Home with Dean Sharp here on KFI, and I was listening to his show, and he was explaining a lot of ways to fireproof your home and a lot of things that there are flaws in some of the designs in our houses here, especially being that not just with the wildfires that just happened, but all the wildfires we'll be experiencing. These are the things that homeowners need to start working on. And a lot of what you just listed is literally like out of the Dean Sharp playbook.
But beyond that, there are things we can control and there are things that we can't control. When you're trying to buy a house, you may not have a lot of say in the building process as far as how it's constructed. And we know that builders, not necessarily will cut corners, but they're not going to go to the nth degree to make sure that they're fire resistant. Hopefully, because of these fires that we've had, this will become the standard. This will be the requirement for building going forward, or at least the builders who are serious about making their homes less susceptible to a fire or the number of fires that we've had. We should not have to go through this again.
One thing that everyone should do, and this was a very easy thing that doesn't cost you anything, make sure you clear all lines to your house. Clear them of shrub, brushes, dry grass, anything that can catch an ember. Just at least start doing that stuff.
But see, here's the thing. A lot of people want to have that shrubbery right in front of their house. They want to have that garden. They want that lines the house.
Yeah.
We have to start thinking differently about how we decorate and how we, I'll say, prepare our house, unfortunately, for any type of danger or disaster.
I mean, it's something we do have to consider, especially here in Southern California. This is not a shout out to climate change, but as the summers are getting hotter and the air is getting drier and we are getting less rain, we're not going to find ourselves further outside of fire danger and fire alertness and awareness and all that. It's damn near going to be year round. I mean, yes, it looks like June gloom outside right now, but earlier during the day it was hot as I don't know what in the valley. So we have to make sure that we're constantly aware of how quickly this tinder around our homes can go up. Gotta help yourself.
Because we had earthquakes, the building codes changed. Because we've had fires, hopefully the building codes will change. Unfortunately, it usually takes a disaster or something really horrible to happen before the building codes actually change. If you build all new houses going forward to be fire resistant in the way that KB has taken that first step as a major nationwide builder. In fact, I live in a KB home, so I know about their process of how they build it. Yeah. You've been to my house. That's a KB home.
Really?
Yes.
That is beautiful.
Well, you're being nice, but
no. I'm just saying the community you live in, I like the design of the homes. I like the spacing. I like the structure. Everything about the homes seems like it was built for them to be all in a very tight, enclosed space, but still have lots of room, lots of space. The designs is amazing.
Well, part of it is we don't have those large driveways. So it's put into the house. When I was growing up, you had the large driveway, the large front lawn. That kind of stuff is not considered necessary as part of houses anymore. But you also see my house where it backs up to this very dry brush area.
Yes, Coyoteville.
Yes. So it's something that I actively think about and am concerned about. So shout out to KB Home as a KB Home owner. I can appreciate what they're doing, and hopefully they will continue to do it across all their developments. It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app and YouTube. The party is now started. YouTube, I'm reading some of the chat. I'm going to be jumping in the chat in just a moment. I'm pretty sure Stefan's going to be jumping in the chat. Mark Ronner, probably not so much. But we're live everywhere on YouTube and the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640 is Later with Mo Kelly, live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app and on YouTube. The chat is hopping right about now. You can come on in and join the conversation. Carnisha is monitoring the chat, so if you get out of line, she probably will block you. But join us on YouTube at Mr. Mo Kelly, MrMokelly. And I know anyone in the chat knows this. And if you're not new to the show, you know this, but I love cruising. Whenever there is a story about cruising in the news, I usually pull it for the show because I like to believe that I can offer perspective that not everyone can. I meet a lot of people who are cruise curious, like, hey, I always thought about going on a cruise. I just don't know what to expect. I'm your guy. I can tell you what is going to happen, what you should prepare for, what you should never do. The only person who probably knows more is maybe Deborah Mark. I think she's been on more cruise than I have. Shout out to Deborah Mark of the John Cobalt Show. But when I saw this story that there was this massive brawl which erupted among Carnival cruise passengers. See, that's your first mistake. Avoid Carnival cruises like the plague, like it's COVID. do not go on Carnival. I've been on Carnival, and put it this way. Carnival Cruises is fine as a starter cruise. Your first cruise, you can't really afford a good cruise, so you get on a Carnival, maybe 3-day cruise, maybe do the Mexican Riviera. You can say that you've been on a cruise, but it's not really a cruise. It's a floating club and prison. That's the only way I can describe it.
Damn, prison too?
Bad things happen on Carnival cruises, okay? And this is another example of that. Sorry, I'm not trying to get a Carnival cruise endorsement. Just not. Because it attracts a clientele who is not either familiar with cruising or is not really willing to spend any money for a cruise. And so you get anyone and everyone on a Carnival cruise. That's point number one. That's why my wife and I refuse to go on any more Carnival cruises.
Okay.
And that kind of highlights this particular story, where there was a massive brawl after a Carnival cruise had docked and people were disembarking, and it resulted in 24 passengers, after their cruise was over, mind you, put on the do not sail list. That's the equivalent to the do not fly list. Their cruise was over. It wasn't like they were acting a fool on the ship at sea. They were picking up their luggage. Now, a cruiser like me, I can tell you exactly what happened. At the beginning of the show, we were talking about how the night before the cruise is over, you're given instructions, and Tuala knows about this. If you want, you can put your luggage outside your cabin door. And when you do the night before, then the ship's crew will take your luggage down to the luggage area so you don't have to do it when you're trying to get off the ship. That can be very convenient if you have a lot of bags. I say never do that. Try to keep all your luggage with you so you don't have to hunt for it. Think of a wide open baggage claim where everyone's luggage is already there, just in a corner.
Yeah.
That also sounds risky. Like someone could just come and just go through your stuff.
Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep going. Or just walk off with it.
Or that too.
Yeah, you know, all bad things can happen. I imagine that some of that was going on. Either someone took the wrong bag, or someone was getting impatient, or a combination of both. You know, voices were raised, threats were made, and then punches were thrown and asses were kicked.
Punches were definitely thrown.
Oh, no, I've seen the video.
A lot of punches.
Yeah, Daniel was showing the video on YouTube, so you can check it out. It's one of those things where that's why I don't do Carnival cruises, and that's why I do not leave my luggage outside my door for getting off the ship. These are things that most novice cruisers don't know. You do it once, and then you realize you don't ever want to do it again. I'm not talking about going on a cruise. I'm just saying, like, leaving your luggage where you have to. You get the benefit of the staff taking it to the luggage area, but then
it's basically a gigantic open room. It's not alphabetical.
No.
It's just they have numbers, and if your number matches that numbered section, it's in there.
Section. It's almost like baggage claim. You can find your luggage at baggage claim C2. It's the same thing, except it's a section of like a warehouse where everyone's luggage is, and you just start searching through that area for your luggage. Of course, someone's going to get knocked out.
So
of course.
So it's like baggage claim, but without the little carousel.
Without the carousel.
Just sitting there.
Imagine like you got there after your flight 6 hours later, and everyone's luggage is just sitting in the corner.
You just have to look for it.
You have to hope you have an identifiable bag. And I'm seeing now, like, this 4-day Baja, Mexico cruise from Long Beach. It starts. This is without any discounts applied. Starts at $259 a person.
That's like a flight, okay?
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. This is almost a third of the cost of the cruise we went on. I'm like, this is nothing. Of course you go on this cruise.
Yeah, I swear by Royal Caribbean. For the fact that there are fewer kids, I don't want your crumb snatchers. Look, I just want to be able to walk around and do whatever I want to do. I don't want to have to worry about bumping into kids and accidentally elbowing one in their forehead. I'm being serious, because kids will run back and forth on the ship. You're not supposed to run, but they do. Yeah. And there's just certain experiences I just want to avoid. I don't want to deal with the 21, 22-year-old guy who has to prove something, who's drank too much liquor, and that's another thing. They water down the liquor to avoid situations just like these.
Okay, have you said a single thing so far tonight about what makes these things appealing in any way?
Okay, no. This is a specific cruise line, Mark.
Yes.
All right.
This is not Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean is still fun and step up, but the Royal Caribbean is still like an intermediate cruise line. There are really, really Virgin, all these cruises that, cause look, I've become a cruise evangelist thanks to Mo. I'm out there spreading the word of cruising. I've looked some of these cruise lines up. There are some adults only cruise lines that are absolute sheer glorious pleasure on a cruise.
Yes.
Well, like swinger cruises?
No, think of it this way.
No.
Think about going into a bar and you see that there are kids running around.
Negative.
Okay. All right. Now think of a cruise ship as a big ass bar and club, and then you got kids running around, or you have younger, new adults running around. You know,
throw them overboard.
20
all
something.
of them. Every last
that's
one.
What I'm saying. Like I would not go to a club now if my life depended on it. Why? Because I don't want to have to put up with certain junk. Think of a cruise in the same way. I will pay more to not have to deal with certain stuff.
Toss them in the drink.
Like imagine,
I don't have to murder someone.
Imagine something like Carnival is like your first time going and getting drunk going to Tijuana, right? You just go, you're drunk, you may end up in jail, who knows, right? But stepping up to like Royal Caribbean, that's like an actual vacation to the Bahamas with wait staff and nice food and all that. And then as you go up, cruise lines just get better, Mark.
Get better. My wife and I were getting ready to go on another one, not getting ready, but in August, we're doing a European kind of a Mediterranean Middle Eastern cruise. Well, the ports sometimes change if you book it so far out in advance, but I'll be going at the end of August into September. Look, we love doing it. We try to hit a different continent each time. So this one, I think it touches Africa. I have to look at the itinerary, but we're trying to do it all.
You ever get that norovirus?
No. Because there's certain rules that I follow. In other words, bow and stern, they have stairs that go up to the different decks, and they have rails on those stairs. They're wide stairs. Do not put your hands on the rails.
Oh, no, you don't even do that in a mall here.
Don't use your hand to hit, or I should say fingers they have elevators, obviously, which go up and down. Don't use your hands to hit the button. Use your elbow.
If you wear a full hazmat suit, you're okay on a cruise.
You don't need a quarter hazmat suit. Just use good sense.
If you look at a lot of the cruise lines that have had those outbreaks,
which is most of them.
No, it's not most of them. And it's oftentimes cruises that are not necessarily ones you want to go on anyway.
Well, but that's
without
true.
The norovirus.
That's true across all of life. The more you pay, the more you screen out the riffraff, right?
Yes. And the people who want to show up sick, nasty, ready to put some
dirty fingernails,
in the pool, all that. Touching the food at the buffet and then licking your fingers.
That goes back to the kids stuff. You have those mangy kids running around just touching everything. Fewer kids, less disease.
Lock them down below.
Okay, Twala knows this because he works in school. Fewer kids, less disease.
What's that area in Titanic where Jack had to go downstairs? Steerage. Lock them all in steerage. The kids.
It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. When we come back, we're going to tell you about some of the first real world impacts of these tariffs. And it's not even China, but close to it. That's next.
We've all done it. You see a headline, but don't have time to read the whole story. Or there's so much news, you're not sure what is worth your time. I'm Colby Ekowitz, co-host of Post Reports, the weekday afternoon podcast from The Washington Post. Post Reports brings you what's relevant and revealing. Breaking stories, politics, wellness, culture. Each episode goes beyond a headline for the context you need. Find Post Reports now, wherever you're listening.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Mr. Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube and the iHeartRadio app. And in my final thought tonight, I will talk about tariffs in our economy more generally and how, as I would say, the rubber's going to meet the road. We're going to start feeling the real effects of tariffs, not in a hypothetical or a theoretical sense, but that's then. I did want to tell you this as an example of, regardless of wherever you are, whoever you are, you're going to start feeling the tariffs, sometimes on a smaller level, sometimes on a larger level. Stefan, you're a gamer, aren't you?
A little bit, yeah. Here and there.
Well, do you have a PS5? Do you have a Xbox?
I got a Switch and a PS5.
Okay. The Switch and the PS5 are made in China, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, boy.
If I'm not mistaken. Well, let me just tell you about this. Xbox, they're made in Taiwan. So I'm not even talking about China exactly yet. Microsoft announced yesterday that virtually all physical products relating to its Xbox gaming line, including consoles, accessories, and games, will receive hefty and immediate increases worldwide. The standard version of the Xbox Series X, the flagship gaming console, immediately will go from $499 to $599. Okay?
Jeez.
That's made in Taiwan. I didn't say anything about China and the 124% tariffs. That's Taiwan. The less powerful Xbox Series S with 512 gigs of storage, that's going up from $299 to $379. Now, you can't have a console without controllers, right? Standard controllers will remain at their current prices, $64.99 for black or white and $69.99 for colorful versions. But limited edition controllers, because everyone wants to, keep it spicy, those will go from $79.99 to $89.99. The Xbox wireless headset is going from $109.99 to $119.99. And the prices will also rise in Europe, Australia, and Asia. I only bring this up because you may only think of the tariffs having to do with a particular group of products, or you may think, well, there are exceptions for electronics. Not all. You are going to feel this on some level. And Taiwan, if I'm not mistaken, they're only like the 10% tariff, if I'm not mistaken. I know it's not on the level of China, which is 124%. But we're going to feel this on all levels. And a lot of my friends, even though they may be in their 50s, they're still gamers. They spend a lot of money on these consoles, these games, these controllers. And let me put it another way. Don't think about this as just a gaming console. Think of it more broadly about electronics. Think about it in terms of phones. Think about it in terms of audio equipment. All of that's pretty much coming from overseas. And regardless of the country which it may be coming from, it's going to cost more. Now, how long it's going to cost more is anyone's guess. And I don't know if people know this. We don't have any new trade agreements yet. We don't. Not one. Mo, you're lying. No, I do my homework. We do not have any new trade agreements. So it hasn't even started yet.
Do you think it'll affect
yes.
the holiday shopping season?
No. Yes.
Yeah.
It has already affected the holiday season, and I don't want to give away too much from our remarks, but I will say this. Companies have already made the decision about pulling back on their holiday purchases because you don't want to have to overpay for inventory that you can't sell. There's going to be a retraction of what is purchased by companies, and there's going to be a retraction by companies as far as their holiday hiring, the seasonal employees. There is, I don't want to say a trickle-down effect, but all these systems, supply side, demand side, are connected. I just wanted to pull out Xbox to show how it's starting. And Microsoft is saying all of its products, but everyone, I think, has a reference point with Xbox. I say Xbox, you may not have one, but you kind of know what it is. You know what a gaming console is. And you may not use it, but your kids may use it. They may ask for it this holiday season. And just know you're going to pay at least $100 more for the console. You're going to pay more for the games, even if you already have one. So it may not hit you square in your wallet, but it might, hit you in the back of the leg. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. That's not politics. That's just basic economics, where everything, I can't say the actual word, but it rolls downhill. It all rolls downhill. KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
We'll help you figure it out. It's kind of what we do.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
We've all done it. You see a headline but don't have time to read the whole story, or there's so much news you're not sure what is worth your time. I'm Colby Ekowitz, co-host of Post Reports, the weekday afternoon podcast from The Washington Post. Post Reports brings you what's relevant and revealing. Breaking stories, politics, wellness, culture. Each episode goes beyond a headline for the context you need. Find Post Reports now, wherever you're listening.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.